Hello, everyone. This is Jasper, and welcome back to another episode of the Newton Public Schools Alumni Association podcast series. And today we have another special guest with us. Today we have Maarten joining us. So, Maarten, would you mind giving us a short introduction of who you are when you graduated South and what you're doing now?
Yeah, sure. My name is Maarten. I graduated Newton South in 2011, and right now I work as an IT project manager for Regenix Bio,
Wow, that's
which is a
amazing.
gene therapy company in the DC area.
I see. So, would you mind giving us a short inside scoop of what you do at your job, like what you primarily deal with, I guess?
Yeah, I pretty much work on our enterprise and cloud systems as a sysadmin, and then also work with various functional groups within the organization to maintain IT compliance as it pertains to FDA regulations that govern IT systems.
I see. So you're dealing a lot with IT. Have you I guess,
Mhm.
you've spent some time at Newton South High School and in there, you've taken some courses there, you've been in some clubs and activities. So I guess have any of your experiences at Newton South maybe contributed to your learning of IT both in college and maybe now in the workspace?
Maybe indirectly, when I was at South, it was less of a computerized world than it is now. The majority of students didn't really have laptops, like personal laptops, until maybe like their junior or senior year. So maybe like not from that perspective, but a lot of part of my job is problem solving, and I think a lot of the coursework and kind of the expectations of teachers kind of facilitated critical thinking skills and problem solving.
I see. That's fantastic. So, I don't know if you do remember this, but is there maybe a course or a teacher at Newton South that maybe had a huge impact on you in terms of, helping you develop yourself?
Yeah, they're actually. I don't know if she's still there, but Dr. O'Chattery was my AP Physics teacher, um, and I thought she really did a good job of kind of expanding my horizons and kind of helping at least myself realize my potential.
Wow, that's amazing. So I guess, you've had a lovely high school experience and, you've gone to college and done 4 years of undergraduate in college. And
Mhm.
after that, you've done some more stuff and then you end up at where you are today. So, tell me a bit about your college experience after leaving Newton South High School. Like, you're doing IT right now. So I guess you've kind of decided on this path sometime through college or maybe sometime even in high school. So, what are some things, you did in college that you maybe feel had a large impact or had a large contribution to where you are today?
Yeah, so after South, I went to University of Washington in Seattle, um, where I proceeded to major in physics. So also maybe not as IT focused, but kind of got more ingrained in technology. I did a lot of programming work and kind of more analytical coding, and that led me uh, kind of down the path essentially. After college, I kind of went a different direction. I worked in the outdoor industry for a while. I worked for a ski company, but then I ended up back in DC, where my mom's family is from,
Oh, I
and
see.
it's maybe not as well known, but a large portion of the workforce in the DC area does IT services for the federal government. So there were just a lot of job opportunities. So that's how I ended up in IT, as I took one of those
Oh,
jobs.
I see. So you've kind of had a journey of, starting in physics and then, kind of traveling through the process and then ending up back in Washington, D.C. So you would argue that maybe, for anyone going into IT, the Washington area would be a really good place to find jobs?
Yeah, I would say so. The majority of the country's data centers are in Northern Virginia, like in the DC area, and then there's a kind of a whole economy of IT services that are provided to the federal government. So, and there's specific now college programs. I know some of the big universities here, like GW, George Mason, and University of Maryland. They've opened satellite campuses in that area, specifically related to graduate programs in IT services.
Ah, I see. Okay. So I guess, if I'm currently a high schooler who is interested in maybe doing IT when I grow up, and, I'm thinking about what colleges I should apply, and, what areas I think my college should be in, aside from Washington, D.C., are there any other areas in the U.S. that you feel maybe would be a really good hotspot for IT people?
Um, yeah, maybe Dallas. There's a lot of data centers there. Texas, and then kind of all the big tech cities. So San Francisco, Seattle. It's kind of cities with big tech industries. Boston. it's kind of like not as well advertised, but all those big, as those companies get more and more reliant on technology, kind of IT and IT services become more and more important. So there's always it's a stable industry, and there's always a fair amount of jobs there.
Fascinating, I see. So I guess, additionally, if I'm a high school student and I kind of want to get into IT, since, you've gone through the entire Newton South system, so you kind of know about the courses better than, maybe a
Hmm.
student who just started out in or someone who's not as aware of some of the courses or clubs. There are any specific recommendations that you have for, courses that someone should take or, clubs that someone might be interested in?
Um, I don't know about clubs, but I mean, there's a lot of free courses online. All the big companies offer usually free courses. Like Microsoft offers a lot of free stuff, which is helpful because most companies run on Microsoft infrastructure and server based. Um, I'm sure, I think MIT and Harvard offer a lot of free courses as well through their extension schools. So,
Mm-hmm.
it could be something fun to do in the summer potentially. But there's a lot of free resources for IT, which is also kind of very nice.
I see, I see. So I do also learn that, you were initially doing physics and then you kind of switched over to IT. What, I
Mhm.
guess, motivated this process of a switch? Because, you've done physics for your undergraduate and you're switching to IT, which is rather similar, but there is some differences in the job market as well. So I guess, what motivated this switch and, what kind of took you through the switch?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there were just a lot of open jobs in the market. So pretty much right around the time I graduated, I was looking. There was kind of an explosion, at least when I moved to DC. I moved to DC for family reasons. So when I got here, there were just a lot of options. So when you're looking for work and looking for a little more, that physics background, a little more technical work, there was just a lot of options versus generally if you want to do like pure physics or pure math, most jobs are just in academia and there's just less options.
I see, I see. So I guess the physics education that you got in college was also helpful when it comes to doing IT, is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
definitely.
see. And I assume, is there any supplemental, knowledge that you kind of had to know in order to go into the IT department? And if so, were there any channels through which you attained this information?
Um, at the point I was applying, no. Generally, there's just a lot of options, and they're more just looking for people with STEM backgrounds.
Oh, I see.
And essentially, the idea is you start at a junior role, and they'll teach you. Um,
Okay,
I'm also more
got
on
it.
the like project side of IT, so I'm not doing a lot of um, what you consider like traditional IT, like server work, help desk, stuff like that. I'm really on the product management side, but generally they're looking to fill contracts, right? So these companies have contracts with the U.S. government. They commit a certain number of hours and a certain number of projects and deliverables, and then they need to hire people quickly to fill those contracts. So that's kind of like the cycle, and that's what I meant. There's like a lot of job and opportunity in this area to do things like that because um, the companies are usually on the clock to hire people quickly to fulfill project timelines for the U.S. government.
I see, I see. So I guess initially you were planning to do physics. So I guess the motivation for the switch kind of happened like, as soon as you heard about the job boom. So I guess when approximately during your undergraduate education did that happen?
Oh, it didn't happen in undergrad. It happened after I graduated.
Oh, I see. And do you go to any postgraduate education or do you dive straight into the workforce?
So during COVID, I did a master's online in data science
Oh,
that I
okay.
admittedly did not finish, but I'm looking to finish that in the near future.
I see. That's fantastic. So I guess, for a lot of people, switching majors can also be something that they feel very scared of, or, switching your kind of
Hmm.
focus because they are like, I've spent so much time on this, and maybe you have the sunk cost fallacy. So I guess, was the process of it hard for you, or I guess both mentally as well as, practically in terms of information?
Um, no, not necessarily. And I mean, I know people in that position as well. Generally people try to get a job in their major, but realistically, that may not always be the case. So, I guess my advice is just be flexible, and when a good opportunity comes around, it may not be what you were expecting, but maybe see that through, and you can always switch back, right? Because I also was not planning on going to this field, but there was just a lot of opportunity. I got a good job and kind of pushed forward, and so and it worked out for the best for me. But um, you know, there's some people who also have left to do things more related to their major, what they studied in college. So, but my advice is you can always go back. Right? Nothing's
I see.
permanent. If you try something you don't like it, you can always make a career change. It's never too late to make a career change.
I see. Thank you. So I guess just to end everything off, what do you think? We've talked about a lot of different values that kind of people should have when going into both the end of high school as well as college and also into the workforce. So I guess for everyone listening, since compared to us measly high schoolers, you have a lot more life experience and wisdom.
Mhm.
I guess what is one maybe mindset thing that we should all keep in mind, going forward that you think maybe brought you very far in life and probably will apply to a lot more people.
Yeah, never maybe undervalue the idea of connections. So like I mean, high school maybe it's a little bit harder, but when you're in college, do as many internships as you can, maybe make connections with enough professors or students as possible, because that's usually how you get the most opportunities. So really kind of try and put yourself out there and meet as many people as possible.
I see. That sounds fantastic. Well, I hope everyone listening today has learned something from Maarten about his journey from physics to IT, and I personally also learned a lot. So thank you very much for joining us today, Maarten, and thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in today, and I will see you all next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Jasper. I appreciate it.